Hello, everybody. It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday so far. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. My weekend's going pretty good. Yesterday, I went to some abandoned asylum and spent most of the night there with some friends and family. I recorded the whole thing, and then I found out that I'm not allowed to post any of it. Yeah, pretty annoying. Can't lie. Pretty upset about that. But honestly, not the biggest loss, especially for you guys, because nothing happened. I just walked around a creepy building for 5 hours and there's just nothing in there. I thought I'd catch some ghost activity or someone would be in there hiding and there'd be some scary story to tell, but nah, nothing. So honestly, it's probably good that nothing happened because that means I'm safe, but unfortunately it means you don't really get a video out of it, so that kind of sucks. But I do have a very interesting story time to tell you guys today, one that I think a lot of you will enjoy, so I hope you enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place when I was 16 years old. Now at 16, I was definitely a little bit of a shithead kid, definitely misbehaved quite a bit, definitely wasn't focusing as hard as I should have at school. I wasn't being the best kid. We all know this, right? I don't need to tell you. You all know how I was back then because I have stories about it. But back then, I was hanging out with this girl a lot, okay? And for the sake of the story, let's just give her a name because I don't want to use her real one. Let's call her Jessica, okay? I had this friend back when I was 16 named Jessica. Jessica was very cool. I hung out with her a lot during school, a lot outside of school. She was definitely one of my best friends back then. And she was also very close with a lot of my other friends. We were all in a group pretty much. We had a big friend group and she was a part of it. And me and Jessica were the hosts of our group when it came to activities. So if we were going to be hanging out anywhere, it'd either be at my house or Jessica's house, right? We had the two houses where people would hang out. And Jessica, her parents had a really nice condo. It was a 4-bedroom, insanely large, condo, right? It didn't even feel like you were in a condo. It felt like a full house. And it was very nice. So, going over there was really fun for me because it was a lot nicer than where I lived, in my opinion. But yeah, we liked going there, right? Now, one day, I'm in school, 16 years old. I'm at my locker. It's 7 in the morning. Class is about to start in 15 minutes. And Jessica runs up to my locker very excited about something. I could tell by the look on her face. She looked very excited. And I was like, "What's up, Jessica?" She's like, "Guess what?" And I was like, "What's up?" She's like, "This weekend, my parents are out of town." And I knew what that meant already. I already knew what she was planning. I already knew what she was scheming. She wanted to throw a party. And I was like, "Are you going to throw a party?" She's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Who's invited?" She's like, "Everybody." And I was like, "What do you mean everybody?" And she starts listing off all these names in our friend group and outside of our friend group. And it sounded like it was going to be a pretty big party. She wanted to invite more than 25 people. And even though her condo was pretty big and, it was a nice place, 25 people in one condo, it's a little big. But at the time, I did not mind. It wasn't my place, right? I wasn't the one throwing the party. So I just kind of nodded my head and I was like, "All right, cool. Sounds good." And she was like, "Yeah, you going to come?" I was like, "Yeah, if I'm invited, I'm there." She's like, "Of course you're invited, Austin." I was like, "Hell yeah." So that Saturday, there was going to be a party at Jessica's. And I was pretty excited. I can't lie. Because usually I would try and throw the parties and it would never work. I would always get caught or something would go wrong and I'd get grounded and it was never a good time. So it was nice to kind of have the pressure of throwing a party off of my shoulders and it was going to be at someone else's place. That being said though, Jessica was still my homie and I did not want people trashing her place. So I told her, I was like, "Hey, just so you know, be careful with who you invite because these people, sometimes they're really, really rude and they'll fuck up your house. Don't want to see your condo get messed up." She's like, "Yeah, of course." So anyway, fast forward to Friday. It's the last day of school for the week. Saturday's the next day. That's when the party is. And we're at school, and I'm at my locker again, talking to Jessica in the morning. And I was asking her about the party tomorrow. I was like, "So who'd you invite?" And she ends up naming off pretty much the same people she named off when I asked her earlier in the week. I asked her how many she thinks would actually show up, and she said all of them. And I was like, "Okay." And then she said that she's going to, lock all the doors of the bedrooms and stuff so nobody wanders in there and trashes the rooms and that the party's only going to be the living room and the outside patio area. So yeah, that was the plan, right? Now after that, we started talking about her parents being out of town. And I asked her, I was like, "Where'd they even go?" And apparently they're on 2 different trips. So her dad went to Vegas for a work trip. And her mom was an hour and a half away, staying in some nearby town with a friend of hers at some bed and breakfast / spa thing. And she was there for a couple days. And I asked Jessica, I was like, "Are you kind of worried that your mom might come home if she catches wind of a party happening? Because that's only an hour away. She can drive right home." And Jessica's like, "Yeah, I thought about that, but we're not going to get any complaints." And I was like, "Are you sure? You invited a lot of people." And she was like, "Nah, we'll be fine. My neighbors are cool." So she was confident. She was 110% confident that there'd be no noise complaints, no issues, her neighbors wouldn't complain, her mom wouldn't catch wind of it, and her mom wouldn't come home early. So I just took her word for it. Like I said earlier, it was not my party, it was hers, and if she wanted to like throw it and not really worry about anything, then so be it. So fast forward to the next day, the day of the party, Saturday, it was time. Now, I told my mom the truth. I just didn't tell her the full truth. I told her I was going to Jessica's house and hanging out for a few hours. I didn't tell her that her parents weren't home and that there was a party happening, because if I told her that, she wouldn't have let me gone. So I was a little bit misleading. I was a little bit, not telling the truth, which isn't good. Don't lie. But yeah, that's what I did. And my mom said, fine, all good. Just let me know when you're coming home or if you need a ride. And I said, okay. And she drove me over to Jessica's and dropped me off. My mom didn't go inside or anything, like talk to Jessica or like see if her parents were there. She just dropped me off out front because, she had been to Jessica's house many times and she knew her parents and stuff. Not well enough to know they were on vacation, but yeah, she knew them. Anyway, I get out of my mom's car, I wave goodbye, I walk into Jessica's house, or her condo, whatever you want to call it. I was like the second person there. I got there very early because I wanted to help Jessica like set up and stuff. And I did. I helped her unfold some like fold out tables and like throw some tablecloths down. And I helped her like set up some music playlists and, connect to the speaker and just kind of like helped get the party stuff going, right? Now, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, people start to show up. Like 4 people showed up at once in a group. Then like 10 minutes after that, another like 2 or 3 people showed up. And then like 30 minutes after that, a lot more people showed up. And before we knew it, there was a full-blown party on our hands. And I don't mean like just the initial people she invited. There was more. That always happens. Like in the past, I've invited people to parties and my friends have invited people to parties. And if we don't explicitly say like you cannot bring anybody with you, then odds are a few of them will end up bringing people. And it ends up being, quite a bit more people than we expected. And in this instance, Jessica actually told people that it was okay if they wanted to bring anyone. So a lot of extra people showed up and her condo was fucking packed. It was so packed that she had to open up one of the bedrooms and let people go in there just to like free up space in the main living room and stuff because it was so packed in that room that you couldn't even move around really. So yeah, a lot of people. It was loud as fuck, by the way. The music was blaring. Everyone was yelling over each other. People were smoking inside, smoking weed. And like I said, this was a condo. So like there was other people on the other side of these walls living. And they probably heard all this noise and smelled this weed and got mad. Because guess what? Like an hour and a half into the party, the cops got called. Let me back up a bit. I'm sitting on the living room couch, right? An hour and a half into the party. And I'm staring out the sliding glass door window. Just kind of like daydreaming. I was kind of zoning out. And I see red and blue lights reflecting off the trees. And they're getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And immediately my first thought was, please don't let that be for Jessica's party. Please let that be for somebody else. And they kept getting brighter, and before I knew it, the red and blue lights were right there, parked in the parking lot of Jessica's condo. And immediately I jumped up, I found Jessica, I was like, yo, cops are outside, I think they're here for you. And she was like, oh shit. So she shuts the music off and she yells. She's like, hey everybody, everyone quiet down. And everyone shuts up. And she's like, the cops are outside, like please everyone, like don't talk. And Jessica proceeds to close the blinds to the sliding glass door where the big window was so that the cops couldn't see into the place and see all the people. It was too late though, they already did. And then she opens the sliding glass door, kind of sneaks out, closes the door, and I'm peeking through the blinds watching her talk to the cops. And I could just tell by the body language of the police and the body language of Jessica that this conversation was not going well. So I proceeded to crack the sliding glass door just a little bit so I could hear. And I could hear the cops saying, where's your parents? We need to talk to them. And Jessica was like, they're not here. They're both on a trip. The cops didn't like that very much and started asking for their phone numbers. And Jessica was refusing to give them the phone numbers. And then after they argued for like 10 minutes, Jessica finally gave up and like gave the cop her mom's number. And the cop called her mom and told her everything. And then after the cop got off the phone, the cop was like, you're in a lot of trouble. And Jessica was like, yeah, I know. And the cop goes, all right, well, it's time to start sending everybody home. I'll wait out here while everyone leaves. And Jessica has to walk inside and tell everyone that the party's over. And she proceeds to say that, like say the party's over, everyone go home. She then opens the sliding glass door and people start pouring out of her condo into the front parking lot area and leaving. And the look on this cop's face was so funny. He looked so just shocked that many people were at this party. And he looked over at Jessica and he's like, you're really popular, aren't you? She's like, not really. And he's like, well, this says otherwise. And he points the crowd of people leaving. And finally, everyone pours out. I stayed behind because I was, obviously one of her close friends. And a couple other friends of ours stayed behind as well. And the cop actually walked up to the door and saw us. And he was like, you guys leaving? And we're like, no, we're staying. Like, we're allowed to be here. We're friends of hers. And he was like, all right, well, just wait here. Her mom's on the way. And I thought, oh, shit. Jessica's mom was a very angry lady, all right? Like, anytime I talked to Jessica's mom, if you got on her bad side, she'd get very mad at you. And I was worried. I can't lie. I thought if I stay here and I wait for Jessica's mom to pull up and she sees me here, she's going to think I'm partly responsible for this party and scream at me. So I was a little bit worried. I can't lie. I even told Jessica, I was like, yo, should I leave? Like, I feel like your mom's going to get really mad at me. And she goes, don't worry. I'll do the talking. I'll make sure she knows you had nothing to do with this. Like, any of you guys. And she points to all of our friends. She's like, don't worry, like, you guys will be okay. Well, I really appreciate what Jessica was trying to do, but unfortunately, it didn't work. Because like 45 to an hour later, her mom pulls up and she walks inside and she throws a fucking fit. She walks in and she's like, are you guys fucking kidding me? I leave for like 2 days. You throw a fucking party big enough to get the cops called? And she's screaming at Jessica. She's screaming at me. She's like, Austin, I trusted you. You're one of Jessica's best friends. I thought you'd help her make good decisions. And she's screaming at me and I'm saying, sorry, I'm sorry. And then after she yells at us for like 5 minutes, she turns around and starts like sweeping the house for people, right? Because, you know, there was just a big party and she wants to see if anyone else is home, right? Now, we thought everybody left, obviously, because we saw everyone pour out the door. You know, I didn't think anyone else kind of hung back, but we didn't check. So her mom starts checking. And to my surprise, she finds people. She finds some couple hooking up in one of the bedrooms. And not just any of the bedrooms. Her bedroom, the mom's bedroom, on her bed. I don't know to this day how they got in there because the only bedroom that was unlocked was Jessica's. So they must have somehow picked the lock to Jessica's mom's bedroom and started hooking up on her bed. So Jessica's mom proceeds to start screaming at them, like, get the fuck out of my place, get the fuck out of here. And I see them run out of the hallway into the living room wearing barely any clothes. The dude was just in his underwear and the girl was just in her underwear. And they ran out the door. And the cops were like, whoa, 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 like, stop, like, put some clothes on. And they, like, had to go back inside quick, get their clothes on, then leave. That couple, the ones that were hooking up, they must have, like, not known the cops were there, like, shutting the party down. They must have been, like, so locked in that bedroom with the door closed that they just didn't hear anything. But anyway, after they got, you know, chased out of the house, basically, the cops left as well. Because at that point, nobody else was there. The party was shut down. The mom was back home. And yeah, the cops left. After the cops left, it got a lot worse. So her mom turned around and just started screaming at us again. And I don't know why, but she was really turning a lot of her attention on me. Not her daughter, the one that threw the party, but me. I don't know why. I think that she thought I was just like some really good influence on her daughter and she was mad that I like, you know, let her do this. But truth be told, just like her daughter at the time, I was 16 and I'm not the smartest kid at 16, okay? Like I was generally, you know, a good kid, but I did some stupid shit and this was one of them. So I told her that. I was like, look, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, like I'm just a teenager just like your daughter. I do stupid shit sometimes. And she goes, no, there's no fucking excuse, Austin. There's no excuse for this. And I was like, what do you want me to say? And she goes, nothing. Just get the fuck out of my place. And then one of my friends speaks up, okay? Or one of our friends, I should say, me and Jessica's friend. We'll give him a name for the sake of the story. We'll call him Aaron. Aaron was also a close friend of Jessica's. Her mom didn't like Aaron as much as she liked me. But Aaron speaks up and tries to defend me. He's like, hey, you're being like way too hard on him. Like, be nice to Austin. He's a good kid. And she kind of egos him. She's like, what the fuck? Was I talking to you, Aaron? I'm talking to Austin. And he's like, yeah, I know, but you're being really mean to him. Like, calm down. You shouldn't be mad at anyone but your daughter here. She threw the party. And she gets mad at that. She's like, are you saying that this is all my daughter's fault, not you guys as well? And I was like, no. Like, it's everyone's fault, okay? Everyone's to blame here. We all showed up. We all helped. Let's just not do this. Aaron's not saying that. And then Aaron interrupts. He's like, no, I am saying that. Like, she threw the party. We just showed up, okay? Stop getting mad at us for some shit your daughter did. And he's trying to say, like, it's all Jessica's fault. And honestly, I don't agree with that because we still showed up early. We helped her set up. We encouraged it. You know, like, we were to blame as well. Obviously, she still threw the party, so she should take most of the blame, but we deserve some of it as well. And Jessica's mom did not like this. She did not like that Aaron was trying to say that it was all her daughter's fault and not ours at all. And she kind of took that as like Aaron kind of shit-talking Jessica, right? And she goes, Aaron, get your shit, get the fuck out of my place right now. And Aaron goes, whatever, you're being a bitch. And immediately, I knew that right then and right there, shit was over. It was done. It was about to get real fucked up real fast. Guys, I shit you not. Jessica's mom walks over to the garage, opens the door without saying anything, right? Opens the garage like back door thing, goes into the garage, comes back out, once again, just pure silence, holding a baseball bat in the living room, and she proceeds to chase Aaron out of her house with a baseball bat. And then, after she comes inside, she looks at me and starts running at me with the baseball bat. So I ran the fuck out of there as fast as I possibly could. And as soon as I was outside, luckily she stopped chasing us. She didn't like chase after me or Aaron once we were out of her place. I think she was just trying to scare us and get us out of there. But yeah, we both met up, me and Aaron. We met up in the parking lot out front. And then we ran off together to a nearby like restaurant, like a pizza place. And we sat down there and got pizza. And I remember for like the first 5 minutes of sitting there, we were just speechless because we were coming down from this adrenaline like / panic attack rush of being chased by our friend's mother with a baseball bat, just like freaking out, right? And to this day, I don't know what she would have done if we didn't get the fuck out of there as fast as we did. Now, obviously, in this situation, if it ever happens to one of you guys, you call the police. If some adult woman chases you with a baseball bat, or man, or whoever, if someone chases you with a baseball bat, you call the fucking cops, okay? Because that is horrible. But we didn't do that. We didn't do that. We should have, but we didn't, because we knew if we called the cops and we were like, hey, this woman just chased us with a baseball bat, then the cops would tell our parents, the parents would find out about the party, and we'd get in trouble. That's what our thought process was, when in reality, that wouldn't have happened. We would have called the cops would have told our parents, but our parents would have been much more upset at the fact that someone's mother chased us with a baseball bat, way more than the fact that we had a party behind their backs, right? So we should have called the cops, but we didn't because our 16-year-old brains were like, no, we don't want to get caught. So we let this woman get away with chasing us out of her house with a baseball bat. Now, I wish I could say the story time just ends there, but there's a little bit more to it. So fast forward to Monday. It's time for school. I wake up at like 6 a.m. I haven't talked to Jessica since the party because her phone got taken away. I tried to text her, but it was just off. I haven't talked to Aaron really, like besides maybe 1 or 2 messages. And I just didn't know what to expect, right? I didn't know what to expect at school this day. And I get to school, and usually every morning, Jessica would meet me at my locker, and so would Aaron. And sometimes Aaron would as well. And just like any other morning, Jessica did meet me there. And she was like, hey, sorry, like my phone's been taken away. I haven't been able to text you. And I was like, you're good. And she was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry about what my mom did to you guys. Like, that is so fucked up. I was so upset. Like, I literally ran away that night. I was so upset with her. And I like went somewhere for like 5 hours. I was just so upset. And I was like, yeah, like it's not your fault. Don't worry. Like, we're okay. And then like 2 minutes later, Aaron shows up, right? He walks up to the locker. And Jessica was kind of pissed at him because he was the one that was like, hey, like you should just blame her, not us, right? And they were kind of like arguing about that for a little bit. And then Aaron goes, I don't give a fuck how upset you are with me, Jessica. Your mother chased me out of your place with a baseball bat. And Austin. Austin got caught in the crossfire for no reason. So no, anything that you're mad at me about, you should not be mad at me about because your mom chasing me with a baseball bat defeats everything. And I'm not going to lie, he had a point, okay? I get that Jessica was pissed that Aaron was like, oh, like, you know, it's her fault, not ours. But like, dude, her mom chased us with a baseball bat. So I feel like that's just the main priority here. Nothing else should be mentioned. And after Aaron said this, Jessica kind of did like stop being mad and was like, you're right, I'm sorry. And they made up and they were friends again. And after this, the friend group was okay. Everybody was all good. Everybody was friends. As for Jessica's mom and her condo and stuff, we never hung out there again for obvious reasons. I didn't want to see that woman ever again. She chased me with a baseball bat. And you're probably wondering, Austin, did she ever apologize? Did she ever like reach out to you? She did actually. Later that week, on like Wednesday or Thursday, she texted me on Facebook. She like sent me a Facebook message and was like, hey, I couldn't find your number anywhere, so I thought I'd message you on here. I'm sorry about losing my cool the other night and losing my temper on you guys. That wasn't very nice. I'm sorry. That's all she said. She said losing her temper. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, losing your temper means like you get a little bit angry and, you know, overreact. Maybe you scream a little bit. Maybe you like get angry and, you know, you curse a little bit. You say some bad words, which she did in the beginning. But in my opinion, grabbing a baseball bat and chasing teenagers out of your house is just a lot more than losing your temper. I think that's pretty fucked up and it's illegal. So yeah, I didn't talk to her anymore. I didn't reply to her message. I didn't reply to her apology. You know, I appreciated that she felt bad about it and like didn't want to do that again, but I didn't trust her. I didn't want to go there ever again. I'm not trying to get treated like a baseball and hit with a bat, so I'm not trying to go there anymore. Now, whenever I think of Jessica's mom, I think of Derek Jeter. Yeah, it's just not good. So yeah, I didn't go there anymore. Neither did Aaron. Neither did the rest of our friend group. From that point forward, if we ever hung out outside of school, it was at my house and my house only, because we just did not want to go to Jessica's place anymore, which was very unfortunate, but it just had to be done. But honestly, I'd say in the grand scheme of things, Jessica's mom got off pretty easy, okay? We could have called the cops and been like, hey, she chased us with a baseball bat, and she probably would have gotten arrested. But, you know, we didn't do that. Now, I won't lie. She did get her karma some years later. Like 5 years later, she got in trouble with the cops at a bar because she like got too drunk and fought somebody, and she like got arrested. Pretty wild shit in my opinion. But yeah, believe it or not, to this day, I actually still am friends with Jessica. I still see her from time to time, like, you know, out and about. I'm not as close with her as I once was, but we're still cool. As for her mom, I don't really know what she's up to nowadays. All I know is that Jessica does not live with her anymore. But yeah, guys, all in all, that's pretty much the end of the story. We had a party, got busted by the cops. Jessica's mom got really mad because Aaron said, you know, don't blame us, blame Jessica. And then we got chased out of the condo with a baseball bat. So pretty scary stuff. Now, guys, moral of the story is don't do what me and my friends did in this story time. Be honest. And also, baseball bats are for baseball, not chasing people. But yeah, guys, that's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.